Hi, I'm Chantel Lopez. I'm co-owner and educational director here at Pilates Collective. And I hope you've been enjoying your time in the studio so far. It's likely you've been in for a class or for a private session, and we're so glad that you're here. We know also that it can be very exciting and a little bit challenging to start a new program, so we wanted to just make sure that we were supporting you in every way that we could. One of those ways is to make sure that you're setting your short-term and long-term goals, and that you set them in a way that they are reachable. So if you haven't had a session, a 1-hour introductory session with the teacher yet, or your 30-minute fundamental session, I would encourage you to make that the very next thing that you do. And you can do that by calling the studio or sending us an email and getting together with one of our teachers. Now when you meet with one of the teachers, what they're going to help you do is tease out your goals and to identify any challenges that are specific to your body that might need special attention. That way when you go into your group of sessions or your classes, you have a clear understanding of where you're going. And this can really be a defining factor when we're talking about reaching our goals. If your goals are nebulous or undefined, it becomes very challenging to stay motivated, to see progress when you've reached one of your benchmarks, and then to renew your goals as you improve, which then kind of dangles the carrot a little bit further in front of you each time, which means that you continue to improve over time and you don't just get stagnant. So included in this email, you'll find a goal setting worksheet. We know that you'll find useful both as you begin and as a tool to come back to over the course of your practice, which we also hope will span a very long time. So here are some of the things to think about when you're setting your short-term goals. What you want to do is look at the things that you want most. What do you want deep down, the absolute most? If your goals correlate to your deepest desires, you're going to be much more likely to keep them. So be careful not to set goals that are things that other people have said that you should achieve or that you should be doing, but things that really mean something to you. In this way, you set your short-term goals that keep you motivated from an internal perspective. So your short-term goals should also be things that are no-brainers, goals that you can reach within a 4-week period with relative ease. And one of the biggest things in motivating you to continue is that you feel successful from the very beginning. So we've got to kind of give ourselves a break. So for instance, one short-term goal might be to come into the studio 2 times a week for 4 weeks, or to just learn one back release exercise that you can do at home. I would just encourage you to be kind to yourself and allow yourself to reach your goals. Often what we do is sabotage ourselves by setting vague and totally crazy goals from the outset. So if you allow yourself to feel that gratifying sense of achievement right away so that you can continue to practice and you can continue to get stronger. So the key to setting long-term goals is creating them with as much clarity as possible. If you want to get out of back pain, for instance, which is so many people's ultimate goal, is to create the steps exactly. How are you going to get there step by step? So working with one of our teachers can be a big piece in setting up a plan. But even if you're coming into a class, make sure you check in with your teacher and tell them what your goals are. We are here to support you, and we want you to get closer to your goals each time you come into practice, each time you practice at home. So if you talk to a teacher and you check in with them, you let them know what you're working on, they will absolutely do their best to incorporate into the class what you need. And lastly, be willing to start over. More than anything else that I've talked about so far, I think that this is the key point, is allowing yourself permission to start over without shame or blame or self-deprecation. Because life happens and we happen and we get in our own way and we have patterns that we're really trying to overcome that can hinder us in creating a new practice and being dedicated to ourselves. So the path to reaching your goals is not a singularly straight and consistent path, but it's one that meanders back and forth. So you really have to allow yourself to fall off the wagon and get back on without having any kind of negative feelings about it. I know that's not easy, but I would encourage you to give that a try. So be kind to yourself and know that putting your health aside because you slipped up is never going to be worth it. If you have questions or if you feel like you need to meet with the teacher, again, please don't hesitate to call or email us, and we can help you address these things in person. So enjoy the goal setting worksheet, and other than that, we'll see you in the studio soon.